Good evening, Naish, and welcome back to Get in the Trunk, episode 10 of season 6, deep into impossible landscapes. We are potentially at the halfway point of the last season of Impossible Landscapes, but I don't know because it's all made up and improv every week, and I have absolutely no idea when this thing is going to end. I'm starting to get stressed. Yeah. So at 20, we kill off Roger no matter what.
Roger's down. Sunsetting him at 20. That's what my contract says.
Wow.
We will have to launch him into space because he cannot be killed.
He cannot be killed.
Like the Hulk.
Yeah, really.
Poochie.
Just freeze him and send him off into this cosmos.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I was preparing for today's sesh. Fun stuff coming. And I was reading some, I'll say not unrelated, but I was reading material that is not Impossible Landscapes as part of the preparation for this. And I kept being like, wow. And it made me think of a question that I'd like to pose to you guys, because I think you all have enormous egos. And I'm curious if any of you could identify a specific job that you would be terrible at. Terrible, no matter how hard you were trying at it. So not like a job you don't want to do that you think would suck, a job that you would suck at even if you tried your best. Because for me, it's homicide detective, I realized. I was like, no matter how hard I try, I will never put a puzzle together, ever, without the help of someone else. And it made me wonder, like, if there's something Sydney thinks she can't do. I'm curious. If you put your mind to it, could you still not do it? Anything come to mind?
Oh, so much. I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl.
I mean, immediately, and we joke about this on the network, but it's true. One of my worst skill sets in life is mathematics. Mm-hmm. Wasn't good at it as a kid. Struggled with it in school.
And tried? And cared.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't care. Because I was bad. And I did well in everything else, so I was like,
or
I
were
don't
you bad
need that.
Because you didn't care?
That's what I'm saying. It's a vicious cycle.
It's a chicken and the John scenario.
So I think if I tried really hard, I might be okay. But I think fundamentally math is a language that I can't really grasp.
So accounting.
Yeah, I was about to say
a CPA.
I was literally thinking taxes. If you asked me to be your CPA, you would get audited.
You would go to prison.
Go to prison with me. Yeah, I think it would have to be that. And then, of course, there's if I was an astronomer, I was doing deep physics space, doing light year. And I did that in school. I took astronomy. And it was really, really hard. So I think either a NASA physicist.
Orbital mechanics.
Or a CPA.
I like that. I appreciate that. Any math related. Skip, is there anything that you've ever thought, man, I could never do that, even if I did my best?
Well, I'll say I was also very bad at math in school, and I hated it. Until I took astronomy, and then it was I had something specific to apply the kind of logic of the formulas to.
Yeah.
Then it all started to make sense to me, and I actually did very well.
Wow.
But it's the only time. But I failed accounting. I failed everything, every other math application. I was terrible at.
Because you were accounting doesn't matter, but calculating light years.
I think for me it was just I hadn't unlocked the sort of knowledge, the confidence that I could do it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I was just it didn't make sense to me in a way that it finally did when I took astronomy.
You just reminded me of a great class that I had in college. I think it was my first year in college. I'd gone to college with advanced mathematics knowledge because I had AP calculus. Mm. So I go into college and it's there was a calculus course. It was called Applied Calculus. And it was calculus 2, but applied. I didn't know what it was. It's just sort of freshman class. I got it. And it was one of the best math classes I've ever had because all it did was do real world, regular day-to-day things and happenings where calculus figures it out like super fast or without a calculator
That's
or
awesome.
whatever. And it made it, and there was a big thick textbook. I remember it was called Applied Calculus. And the whole point of the textbook was not just to talk in math theory, but to give you hard world examples of how this all works. And it was the same thing, Skid, where it clicked for me like it never did before.
Yeah.
Like what calculus is and why it's a fascinating math science and is excellent at what it does. Because its applications are very, very valuable and constantly around us, but you just don't think of it, when you're not.
That's the best way, at least for me, and I think for you, maybe, and a lot of people, is to learn, is to have something like that.
I think, they should start with that. They should start with why this is worth knowing. Like, why are we just like...
Applied algebra, not just like
You say that, but then you're 14 and someone's like, this will be important for when you do your taxes. And you're just like, I'm not listening.
I'm never paying
my taxes.
You'll need to know advanced calculus for when you do your income taxes.
Sorry, I cut you off, Skid, on a potential job you'd be horrible at.
All that being said, the job I'd be worse at would be NFL head coach.
Really? I'd be terrible too. That's a great example.
Really think so?
Yeah, because I couldn't motivate other men. I could never get them to listen to me. Like I would just be like scared of them, and they'd be like, just like, let's do a dump off screen. Here it is. It's like, what? What are you crazy? It's just like, you're right. Do whatever you want. You guys go out.
It's an amazing example because it is
have fun out there.
It is like a top world tier difficult job. Is NFL head coach. Nobody can keep that job. No, everybody gets fired all the time.
World. People trained their entire lives to do it. Many generations of men, and they can't keep those jobs. Every one of them will be fired.
Yeah, Belichick got fired, for Christ's sake.
There are less NFL head coaches than there are astronauts. It is an extremely difficult job.
Yeah.
Francis?
Oh, God. Okay. I mean, the math thing, I agree with all of that. But the thing I think I could never do is a politician. I could never just go around to a bunch of random places and be like, let me tell you why you should
pretend
make me
to like people.
Yeah, well, just pretend just do what all the politicians do and just lie to your face for 3 months at a time, and not just lie on television, but lie to every single person you see everywhere.
Yeah,
I can't. I mean, I'd be like, fuck, I can't. I understand why these people end up doing mountains of coke and drinking fucking fish, because nobody can live like that.
I know, it's not
insane.
human.
They can live lying to every single person they talk to
all the time. There's not one true thing that comes out of those motherfuckers.
That's so good. Troy?
Contrary to Skid, I think I'm a pretty good sports coach, but that's different when you're just coaching beer league softball. However,
you were good at motivating beer league softball players.
Yes, and I think I'm good when I put my mind to it at motivating others. But I think I'd be a terrible kindergarten teacher. And I learned that this weekend. For one thing, it is the single hardest job in the world.
Yes.
But as a perfectionist with borderline obsessive compulsive disorder, I don't think I could. I think I would struggle with it. So, for example, we took the boys mini golfing this weekend, and I just couldn't help myself to be like, let me show you the right way to do it. And then you can do it your way. And Sam being like, just let them do it. And I'm like, I can't. Their hands, their Archer's holding it like a hockey stick.
Up. Yeah.
I'm like, he's like Happy Gilmore because all he does is play hockey. I'm like, no, you got to hands together. I'm grabbing Dash's hands, pulling it off. I'm like, grab your own thumb. That's going to I just couldn't let them just do it their own way. I'd watch her a little bit and she's like, what difference is? I'm like, because it's not the right way. I want them to learn the right way. For 18 holes.
Needless
to say, we made it through 10.
I suspected as much about myself, and it was confirmed this past spring with when I offered to assistant coach T-ball. And I was like, this is like being a kindergarten teacher. Like, this is unbearable. It was so, and it's other people's kids, which makes it way worse because you really can't say anything. You just got to sit there and be like, you're doing it wrong again. And you don't seem to want to get better, which is just like, that's the really irritating part.
The hardest part for me.
Why are you here? What are you doing
Here. Why'd you sign up for this?
So I coach T-ball. I'm about to start doing it again. And I'm just an assistant coach because we travel. Otherwise, I wanted to do head coach, but I'm like, we travel for the live show. I don't want to I can't miss a week. But the hardest part is just keeping them engaged.
Yeah.
Because all they want to do is let's just play chase. And I'm like, there's no chasing in baseball.
There's very limited chasing in baseball.
Right. And there's always just a couple kids. There's a couple kids that are just assholes. And you want to be like, would you just stop being an asshole for 2 seconds and be like these kids that aren't assholes?
And there's a couple kids that are just, and I think mine was one of them, absolutely on another planet. Just space cadets. Like, they don't even know where they are, like, at all. They don't know I'm not their dad. Like, it's crazy how like out there some of these kids are. And you're trying to tell them the difference. You're trying to tell them to go play shortstop. And I mean, it is the most baffling thing to these kids. So I'm like, I think maybe I need to reserve my coaching skills for an older child.
Oh god.
Oh my god. Anyway,
It's harder to get those jobs, though. The older the
It's
kids get,
tougher.
the harder those jobs are to.
you got to put in the time. Yeah. You got to play the political game of the local baseball leagues. So
yeah.
Francis would be out on that too.
I'm out.
Culminating in the NFL, the oldest kids of them all.
Oh man, that was amazing. You guys all had very, very good answers. That was so funny. Let's get back to our game, to our sesh, where we continue our time within the Hotel Broad Albin, which, holy crap, in preparing for this, I did a little bit of looking back long ago in our Impossible Landscapes campaign, listening to some stuff that had happened before. And it's just really cool to see the little seeds that were planted about this hotel. And that, you've been hearing about this since very, very, very early in the campaign. And then you walk through the front door last week, a hotel that apparently was not there when you checked in New York City at its location where it was supposed to be in 1995, but it was here in 2015. And you walk through the door, I mean, after midnight, late at night, and there's still people milling about. There's a person at the reservation desk who says there is a reservation for you for Dr. Bachman, a reservation for Mr. and Mrs. Cumstone, and then a guest reservation, however, for Robert Walford, who's on the room of one Lavallee. Very kind of strange. Bobby's like, I ain't going there. And sleeps with Neil. Both of you guys actually managed to get some sleep, which is wild. But Roger and Vicky discover that Murray, their son, has come to this hotel, apparently as a guest of his sister Camille, and they were staying in room 830. That is where Roger snuck out while Vicky fell asleep to try to find or talk to Murray, only to find the room covered in blood, cash on the floor, a heroin needle on the end table, and written in some black ichor on the wall, "Where is my bottle?" and clearly in Murray's handwriting. Vicky separately sneaks down to see this while Roger is still asleep after dawn and sees the same thing. It's very, very disturbing. And so all kind of point all of you guys kind of point your goals to getting to the basement. The basement, that seems to be where perhaps these bottles are. Whatchamacallit, Neil keeps having a dream of descending into some sort of brick-lined dark hall filled with bottles and keeps coming upon this one bottle that is J.C. Lintz's. You looked back at the evidence board from the compiled previous seasons where you saw on Hotel Broad Albin stationery at the end of season 5, you received a list of almost chores given to you in an almost poetic-like way by Abby, which says, find J.C. Lintz at the Hotel Broad Albin. Go now. Find the hotel. The labyrinth, the author, his bottle, and then it goes on from there. So You're trying to kind of move through these phases. I also want to mention 2 more things. 1, when you walked in the hotel, remember you had an overwhelming sense of purpose here, that this is the path you should be on, and that events are coming together in a way that this might be a heart of the issue you're trying to fix or solve. If it is fixable or solvable, something is this hotel is the heart of something important, and you got that feeling, and you recovered some sanity. Also, just as a reminder, Elmer had requested, he was the guy working the front desk. I just want to remind you, Troy, that he had requested Roger come back to him in the morning for he had a job. He's like, I got a job you could do. I need a big, strong dude. And you haven't returned to him. You don't have to, but just want to make sure you remembered that was out there if you wanted to do so or not. But we end our episode with you guys descending to the basements through the elevator run by Charlie, old Charlie, who asked Neil to dinner. Neil seemed to say, yeah, let's do it tomorrow night. And then you exited this basement, and one of the first open rooms you came across was just the door was open, and inside was a man in a 3-piece suit with no jacket on, sitting in his vest on an old wooden chair over a large metal tub, wheezing. And as Neil approached into the room, he recognized that there was a body in this large metallic tub, and it seemed to be the body of a child. We'll pick it up right there in this moment as Neil slowly walks around this person and sees this body. Let's just start with you coming into the peripheral view of this man who we all know is Asa Darabandi, who immediately upon your shadow coming over the edge of the table, jumps up off of the chair and slides back, splashes like a little bit of the water, and comes back up against the tub, and is just like, who are you? Who the hell are you? And you can see his hands are soaking wet. The front of his vest is soaking wet. His hair is in these black ringlets. It's also kind of wet, like kind of hanging in his eyes. And he's throwing that hair back out of his face. And with shock and surprise on his face, he stumbles backwards. Who are you? Get out of my room. And he's slowly moving away from you. Right next to you, you get a clearer view, is what looks like maybe a 5-year-old child. Looks like a girl, face down. The body's just floating in this water.
Neil holds his hand up to Darabandi's face and just sort of keep him at a distance, and then sort of leans down to check on the girl, pick her up, pick her face up out of the water, turn her over, and just quick check her vitals.
Okay. He goes stumbling back. You go down and reach in to grab the girl. And in that instant, something within the water grabs your wrist and rips you down into the tub. And you fully submerge. You fully submerge into the water. And whatever it is, it could be a hand grabbing your hand. It could be a tentacle wrapped around your entire arm. Something is drawing you down into the depths. This murky, stinking water begins to completely surround you, and you start to feel the pressure in your ears and your eyes as if you are being drawn down 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, as if you're going to die. I need a very, very important strength times 5 roll.
Oh my God.
At a minus 20% as you have to struggle to fight out of whatever is pulling you down into this water.
Oh my gosh.
And we're just staying on Neil for the moment. Under the water. He's struggling.
Trying to see if she was alive.
Just trying to help the kid.
81 over 30.
Oh.
81 over 30. In the struggle, you open your mouth and you feel yourself take in water. You begin to die. You take 1 hit point of damage. Give me another strength times 5 roll. Minus 20%. Same goal.
We can't help him? We're here?
Yeah,
we can't help him?
This is all we're seeing right now.
40 over 30.
Oh, Neil.
You're fighting. You take 3 points of damage.
What is happening? Does he have like feet sticking up out of the tub? Can we like pull?
So he got pulled down 30 feet.
Our cinematic scene here is only seeing Neil struggling, thrashing under this water, bubbles coming up all around you, and some unseen dark force pulling you down. Give me another roll, please.
Okay.
How many hit points are you at?
I'm at 5.
Oh.
63 over. It's less than 30. 63.
You take 2 points of damage. Thrashing, dying, must pass the roll. Just tried to help a kid, but pulled into some unnatural horror.
Never help kids.
Never be a preschool teacher.
Just leave them. Just leave them where
I
they
think the
lie.
lesson here is never help kids. This is terrifying.
Especially drowning months.
Jesus.
Oh my God. Delta Green has taught us anything.
Never help a drowning child.
Never help a drowning
style of
child.
kid.
They'll
Think
take you
that-
down with them.
That's how they grow up to be drowning adults.
Exactly.
That's right. Teach a kid to drown.
Oh my God, no. No! Scared! Neil!
Roll again.
Roll again.
Neil.
$66.
Oh my
Oh my God!
Oh
The crit
God.
fail.
The critical hell.
Oh my.
Oh, cracked eye.
What's happening? What's happening?
Ho ho. 2 points of damage
Oh, oh God.
as you come down to the end of all things. You are at how many hit points?
1.
1 hit point, which means you are unconscious. At that point, we cut back to the rest of you who see in this room Darabandi comes back up against the wall. Oh! The chair slides out. Who are you? Neil puts up his hand and immediately goes and touches the water. As soon as he does, his head snaps back into the air and he begins convulsing and he starts vomiting water up into the air and collapses to the ground. And he continues to convulse and rockets of water are shooting out of his mouth. And then a final rocket shoots out after just a couple seconds, and he's just completely still and appears dead. Everybody roll a sanity roll.
Oh
My God.
my God.
Is this helplessness? Because I might be.
Oh, fuck.
Actually, no, I'm adapted to violence.
No, this is unnatural.
Oh, shit.
Oh, fail. 95.
Oh,
Yeah, I failed. 58.
28 under 58. Passed.
So Vicky passed, the other two of you failed.
Yeah.
All right, so Roger, that is... what do you usually do in Call of Cthulhu? Do you have people roll their own sanity loss, or do you roll it?
I think as written, the characters roll their own sanity loss, which is far
Okay.
more dangerous.
Yeah. Well, this one is very dangerous. This is 1d6 sand loss, so go ahead and roll a d6, Roger and Bobby. Vicky, you take 1 point of sanity damage as...
I got one.
Okay.
It's all right. It's all
Roger,
right.
Roger got 6.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
Oh boy.
So here's what I'd like to do. I only have one bond left, which is my parakeet, Steve. But my bond score with him is 5. So what I was thinking is, from getting so wrapped up in this mission, Steve dies. And I bring that bond from 5 to 0 and then do I then take the remaining one?
No, you roll 1d4. You roll a 1d4 to see how much push
I-
off. So you're not going to break the bond here permanently, but it will be reduced by however much you roll.
The way I'm
D4
imagining is like Steve is going to die if I don't do anything. I've completely neglected him.
Yes.
Oh, God. Steve.
And of course, I roll a 1.
Oh.
So that bond goes from 5 to 4, and I take 5 points of sanity damage.
You take 5 points of sanity damage, and obviously, in so doing, in one go, losing 5 sanity damage, Roger snaps in that moment. I think that
I got it for you if you want it.
Sorry, what?
I got my snap for you if you want it.
Yeah, by all means, I'll give it to you.
Just gonna stampede into the room and smash Darabandi with the butt end of the shotgun. Just like sideways, just whap!
Okay, give me an unarmed combat roll,
With pleasure.
and I am going to dodge. Because I have not gone yet.
I rolled really well, but it depends.
Did you roll high but under your number?
No, I
'Cause
rolled
that is
low,
really
but
well.
under my number, which is a 12 under 62.
12 under 62. He rolled a 52, which is a straight up fail. So you succeed. Go ahead and roll damage.
What do you like for that? For
What's your strength modifier?
Time.
Is there
My
bonus
strength is
damage?
18.
Well, give me. This is a hard hit. Give me like 1d6 plus 4.
I have like what a baseball bat would be.
Yeah, that's good.
1d8.
1d8. Okay.
Nice.
But it's just well, but I want you to get a bonus for your strength. So just give it a plus 4.
Okay.
This is unbelievable.
6 points of damage.
6 points of damage. So, wham! Right across his face. And Darabandi just goes back, poof, hits the deck of this plain, bland apartment floor, this wooden floor with no furniture in it except for this tub and this wooden chair. And he hits the deck, spits a tooth out, blood starts pouring from his mouth, it starts coming out of his ear on the side where you hit him, and he's laying kind of incapacitated on the floor but not dead, and he's just kind of like twitching. Neil is, it seems, barely breathing, seconds away from death if there's nothing anybody else can do.
I mean, okay, what would this be? Like a health or a
First
surgery?
aid.
Survival first aid roll? I guess, do I have it? Okay, I got 20 in first aid. If I can try and first aid him. Yeah. And I got a 31.
Okay, so we see Bobby drops down onto the floor and you begin
Trying to
some
do
degree of
CPR or
CPR. Yeah.
something. Yeah.
So you start kind of like pumping his heart or trying to clear his air passageway.
Right. Whatever that we shove on his stomach to get, or like just below his chest cavity to get the water out. Is that how they do it with? That's why I rolled
Yes.
30. I don't know.
Yes, exactly. Okay, just going through the book here. This is brutal.
Oh my god.
Neil. Come on, Neil. Come on.
Come on, Neil.
We've been
you die on
I
me.
think we've been very fortunate that we haven't run into more of these type
like
things.
Jesus.
Yeah. This is
This
endgame kind of
happens in
stuff.
these games.
I feel like,
this stuff in Call of Cthulhu I read was like, if they pick up that idol, they take
die.
1d100 sanity damage.
Oh my.
Like, and that's legit. And you could roll 2, or you could roll 98.
Yeah.
You know?
God. And then
okay,
as
sorry.
a GM, you like hear your players deliberate. They're like, "Let's pick it up. Let's not. Let's pick it up.
I think what could be the worst thing that could happen?
What could happen?"
Fuck.
Oh God.
Okay, so you are effectively in this moment, Skid. Neil is effectively at 1 hit point and dying. Troy, adjust that. I'm going to adjust that damage to Asa to 4 instead of 6. so you rolled a 2 on the die.
2, yeah.
Yeah, so I found it here. Your damage bonus for an 18 is +2 strength bonus. And so he took 4 points damage, but the result is the same. He's still on the ground and basically incapacitated, not much of a fighter, and is dying. So, Vicky, what do you do in this moment? Bobby dropped down onto Neil and started to try to administer first aid there.
Help!
I would like to. So I don't have first aid, but I do have pharmacy. I wonder if there's a way I can ask to use pharmacy, and maybe it's like.
Well, Neil has a bag there
he's got a bag
filled
full of
with
stuff.
drugs. Maybe one of those like needles to the heart kind of
Adrenaline
things.
shot.
I'm thinking
Adrenaline
either
shot.
like shot to the heart or something. I forget the name of it that makes you throw up.
Exactly what
Like pouring a noxious whatever that stuff is that makes you throw up.
Ipecac.
Ipecac. Pouring that into his mouth, trying to like turn his head to just make him barf up more water, if possible. So could
You
I
get the sense that the water has been barfed out, and
Okay.
now his system is shutting down.
so he's not drowning.
I don't think he might have already drowned, is
Yeah.
kind of where you're at. And it might be beyond getting water out of his lungs. I think
Okay.
his heart is stopping at this moment, but he's not quite lost yet. So
Okay, I'm looking
I will
for
allow
Pulp-
you to do a
Pulp
pharmacy
Fiction.
roll, tearing open his bag. If you succeed at this roll, you will identify and find that, what is that called? Like something or something. I can't remember.
EpiPen. Or
EpiPen.
yeah,
EpiPen. Look at you, Fred. Fred, you got to run a season to get in the
I
truck.
have to have an EpiPen or else I'll die if I eat fish.
Really?
Yeah, fucking nerd.
Is that what it
never
is
know.
in Pulp Fiction? Is it just an EpiPen?
No, it's an actual adrenaline shot. That's,
Oh, it
But I
is.
mean, it's the delivery device. Well, they have a real syringe, but an EpiPen's just like a fool's way of getting it into. Like it's basically just like you got a plunger and like a little.
Yeah.
You can't fuck it up, basically.
Unless you do it backward, and then
Yeah.
you stab outward, and then you've ruined the EpiPen, which I've
Yeah,
heard
you-
of people doing.
you
They go
can
the
ruin it,
wrong
yeah,
wrong
yeah.
way.
Yeah, but
okay.
I guess anyway.
Here we go.
Oh come on,
Pharmacy roll. I'm digging. Vicky's digging through Neil's bag, dumping everything out.
Vicky, help, Vicky.
27 under 50.
Oh,
Holy shit,
oh my
dude.
god!
I did it.
Don't
She's
die on those heels.
scrambling
Reading-
through.
Reading
and-
labels.
Reading labels, and you find this. Well, we could say it's a shot of adrenaline, something to spike his heart to start beating again now that the water is out, but that the heart stopped. And see
She
if you
runs
can
over.
save Neil's life in this moment. So you reach it, you identify it. We see Vicky just like dump into Neil's heart, and then Skid. What do you think happens here?
I think if it works, then the adrenaline shot just like jump starts his heart. And his eyes shoot open behind his sunglasses. Like,
He starts. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you immediately open your eyes to some degree. It's been mere seconds since you started vomiting water and collapsed. There really isn't enough time to have serious blood loss to the brain. Vicky was right on top of it. In seconds, shuffled through, grabbed this needle, plunged it into you. Your eyes open. You start coughing. As you begin coughing, you start to feel a strange sensation within your esophagus, as if you are vomiting up like a solid, like not water. And as you start to like vomit, you start to see, and Vicky, you're watching this in this instant, we start to see clumps of hair come out of your mouth, along with like little wet and partially dry clumps of sand that like mix in with the hair as you're like trying to get this out. Give me a Constitution roll as you times 5 as you're trying to vomit this horror out of your body, hair
God.
and sand.
Yeah,
Oh my
Vicky
God.
stabs a needle, and then she's like,
Yeah. Bobby's just like, oh my
Vicky,
god.
give me another sanity
Oh my
roll.
God.
Troy, tell me what Roger is doing with Asa, who is about to. He starts to put a hand under himself to try to. His body is just naturally reacting, trying to push himself up.
He just says, "What the fuck's going on? What the fuck's going on with my friend?"
He looks over, sees Neil vomiting. He's just, I don't know. I swear I don't know. Please,
The girl.
please don't hurt me.
What did you do with the girl?
He told me I had to.
Who?
Baal. King Baal. He said she was in line for the throne. She had to be killed. And I wouldn't have done it if I didn't have to. And he's like sobbing on the floor, and this insanity is spewing forth from his mouth. Neil, what is the result of your con roll?
60 over 50.
60 over 50.
Oh my God.
So yeah, you continue to vomit this out, and eventually you get it all out and then fall unconscious. Had you succeeded on that roll, you would have 3 hit points and be conscious barely. The failure leaves you alive, but he's laying there unconscious, but his heart is beating. You feel like his heart is beating, but Neil has passed out again. Rose enough to get whatever was in there out. Vicky, what is the result of your sanity roll?
2.
Jeepers.
Wow.
You are so sane, it's
He's just
crazy.
like-
It's consistently sane.
Just keeping
Through all of
everything
this.
together.
She has to keep it together because you
yeah.
are all so fucking insane.
She's like the mom of
Yeah,
the group.
literally.
Yeah.
She has to.
She's keeping us all on track.
She's also drunk, but she's like, I could drive because out of you guys, I'm the least drunk.
Yeah. I'm still the best bet. Driving.
Yeah. Oh God.
Not to say she's not freaking out though. This is fucking
This is
horrifying.
insane. This is insane.
And now Neil is like unconscious and she's just wildly looking around at what they could do in this basement now.
Okay, and so, Bobby, you needed another sanity roll
Oh,
witnessing
God, yeah.
this,
I
and
was
now
gonna
you're
say.
seeing these strange clumps of black curly hair mixed
9.
with what looks like beach sand that's both wet and dry clumps.
I got a 9 under 25.
925. All right,
I'm
so
like-
you guys are just so kind of elated
Yeah.
that Neil seems to be alive.
Yeah, we got a heartbeat.
That whatever this is, you're just like, who cares
Yeah.
about that? And you turn back and you see Roger's hulking form standing over Darabandi. The butt of the shotgun is dripping blood off the end of it. And he's standing there, who the hell's going on? Asa says, he told me to do it. He said I had to. She was in line for the throne. Babbling on the floor. Please, please don't kill me. I can help you. I can help you.
Where's the other girl?
By the way, you're looking at Darabandi. Bobby, Vicky, you're working on Neil.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you guys saw, how far into the room you were. Neil sure as shit saw a body in that tub. But when you look now, the tub just has water in it. There is no body in it. Oh, Roger, you asked what happened to the child, so you definitely saw it.
Yeah.
But in a moment, you hit him, you looked away for an instant, and when you look back, there is no body. The water, this murky, brackish water, is just floating in this metal tub, and it seems empty. So I'm not sure what you meant by other girl, but yeah, you don't even see that initial girl.
Well, I say
It's just
other
what
girl
wrote
because
here.
I'm thinking about the photograph of him with 2 girls.
Yeah.
And then the story that we know is that he drowned 2 girls, right?
I
Yeah.
thought he drowned like
Sisters.
multiple.
With the picture.
Or multiple children. Yeah.
Yeah.
He drowned
multiple
multiple children. Let me go back.
The
in my
story
notes.
that you know, yeah, look at your notes, Sydney, but I believe you know that they suspect his victims were up in the 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
like he had.
in the
I think I
Harlem
might
River.
confused
they-
because there's the picture of him with the 2 girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
But-
Creepiest
but
picture
right, I
ever
think-
drawn.
Fucking A.
1950, he disappeared. They found a 6-year-old girl drowned in the Harlem River. He is suspected of 5 other drownings of children that happened between 1947 and 1950. That's what they speculated. That's what they thought, but then they speculated there could have been as many as 20 children in unsolved cases.
And he's the architect of this hotel?
Yeah.
He is the architect of the McAllistar
McAllistar
Building.
And he lived at the Hotel Broad Albin, and he worked there and
He
worked.
lived at the hotel while he was working on the McAllistar Build.
And
Yeah.
McAllistar Building is a real building.
That's
It's
where.
the building you were in
That's the first
1995 where
1995,
Abby
yeah.
lived. That building had changed hands a couple times. Remember the St. Dimpha
Right.
Foundation? No, I'm sorry, that was the hospital. This building changed hands a couple times, and then it was bought by that artist collective that wanted to have low income renting for artists in New York. And that the building had changed hands a few times. You also remembered. What your characters would probably remember is that Asa Darabani designed the building. Henry Lundeen hired him to do it. So Henry Lundeen was the owner of the McAllistar Building way back when. That's what was on file in City Hall, was that Lundeen originally owned the McAllistar Building.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Darabandi erected 9 buildings while living at the Hotel Broad Albin, and he worked on them in lieu of payment for getting to live at the Hotel Broad Albin.
Are there records of Asa Darabandi in our universe, or are they all in this alternate?
Yeah, this is where you found all this information that Vicky is talking about.
Yeah, he drowns the girls like in our universe, like all that stuff.
Yeah, all right,
and he is listed as the architect with Henry Lundeen as the owner of the building, like in the paperwork we found.
He disappeared and then was declared dead many years later. And I believe how you got this information was through police files that had found a diary that he kept that essentially confessed to the 5 other drownings, but didn't mention the other suspected ones, but they suspect it could have been as many as 20 unsolved cases of drowned children.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like either he already had this connection to Carcosa or this other world, whatever it is, or he discovered it in building the McAllistar Building. Maybe it was, or like if he had already pre-discovered it, he built this as a portal, and maybe the drowning of these children was all part of this, like either it was sacrifices or he thought that he was sending them over to the other side. Because I think of throne, like that goes back, like you'll never sit on the American throne.
So you remember, so this was the night manager, Henry de Calvadosa Castaigne, and he had a book that was like lineages of all these people that were like royalty or the aristocracy of America. And he believed that he was in line to be king of America. Also, when he mentions, when Darabani on the floor mentions King Bale told him to do this, you remember Timothy Bale, and you remember that he told you in that hospital that his whole purpose
this is the guy
was
who killed his parents, right?
No, that was the other guy that Neil, you had like stabbed with a needle. You had injected him with something. That was Ed Myler
Bale got
Wist.
us out.
And Wist, yeah. Bale got us out, exactly.
You can see this all on our evidence board.
Right.
Timothy Bale, you can see, and that's different from Ed Myler Wist, who was the guy who had killed his parents.
Right.
Timothy Bale was just like he was a veteran. He was a combat veteran from Afghanistan that was like seeking medical care. Well, he now in the night world, he's considered himself King Bale, and that he sort of weaved the web of things that needed to happen and how they all needed to occur is what he told you. And if you remember, once it was Bobby and Neil, you guys came across him because you had to grab him to bring him to Dowlin's office because you needed his help to figure out how to get through that one door or whatever.
Right.
And he was sitting on top of a pile of books on a phone, if you recall. Just really strange image.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just calling people, and it seemed like he was just telling them to do things and then hanging up the phone. Maybe in this moment we see Vicky's head pan as he says King Bale told him, and you see like an old-time rotary phone hanging on the wall with like the handhold ear cup and the rotary dial.
What the and maybe Vicky is like having like a flash to the phone, and she walks up towards Roger and towards Darabandi.
He starts to get up. He puts one foot under him, another foot.
Roger kicks a foot out. Doesn't
Falls out again. Please don't.
Stay down.
Would he call you? Did he call you on this phone?
And he looks warily up at the phone and just nods. And as he's nodding, he looks over at you. And he freezes. And his eyes go wide. And he's like, I know you. Looking at Vicky.
Vicky looks at Roger.
I saw you in a dream. You knew about the girl. What is happening to me?
Who? About Abigail?
No. And he looks at the tub. The girl. You knew. I dreamed of you in a hospital. You were a patient. You were a patient there.
Yes, with Timothy Bale, who you call King Bale.
I don't know Timothy. I know a King Bale. And you remember, Vicky, in the hospital, seeing Asa Darabandi, and he had said he thinks he killed somebody. And you said, the girl, and he broke down in tears, like sobbing.
Oh my God.
I forgot he was in the fucking hospital.
And now he's here telling you he had a dream that he was in a hospital and you were a patient there.
Yeah, and then Vicky, her eyes also like kind of go wide. She almost like forgets what happened in the night floors in the hospital because it was so fucked up. They told her she never had a kid. You know, she was crazy.
It was like a whole alternate reality, yeah.
So she looks at him and she says, "You were in the hospital with me."
It was just a dream. It was just a dream.
No, it wasn't a dream. You killed multiple children in New York City in the 1950s, you piece of shit! And she slaps him across the face.
Give me
Yes.
a combat roll.
Unarmed combat.
Are we all
Immediate
gonna get a piece?
I'm going to give him a dodge roll at a massive penalty.
Give him a shot next.
Oh, baby. 41 under 50.
50. Slap. Over. So yeah, you whack. Give me 1d4 damage because you're really laying into him.
Oh, she hates
Killed him, you
this
son of a bitch.
guy. That's going to be 2.
2 points of damage. All right, so he's now taken 6, and he goes down and he's just moaning.
Where's my son? Where is Murray? You tell me right now.
And he looks up at you. Mouth all messed up, blood coming out the corner. He's your son.
What did you do to him? I will fucking kill you.
I didn't do anything to him. He went where everyone else tries to go. The Whisper Labyrinth. He tried to find his bottle. He said he needed it. I told him I wouldn't tell him where it was, and he stalked off. He'll never find it. You need me. You need my help if you want to find the Whisper Labyrinth. I'm telling you, if you kill me, you won't find a way through.
Roger puts the butt of the shotgun right up into his chest to push him down on his back, so he's laying on the ground.
I swear.
You listen to me, you piece of shit. A long time ago in New York, this all began. Start talking. What happened?
Well,
what happened?
I was living in Chicago, and my aunt, she was an artist, and she inspired me to get into art. I didn't know what kind, and architecture spoke to me, so I began working on that. But she was filled with all kinds of crazy ideas, and she was an actress in France. She performed in France, and when I was a kid, she came home from there, and she lived with us for a while. She told me about the king, about Carcosa, and I began to learn how to open my mind to these things. Well, my mother found out and kicked her out of our house. And I thought that was it. I didn't see her again. I heard she was homeless, living on the streets. Well, as I went to school, as I went to university and learned design, I began making buildings, and they seemed to be popular, well-liked. And it wasn't until I moved to New York at the request of Lundeen, who was, at the time running the Society of Endless Doors.
So he was into this shit too?
Do you know about the Endless Doors? The Brotherhood. The Brotherhood.
No, please, enlighten us.
Well, he hired me to make a building for him on the east side of Manhattan, and I agreed.
McAllistar Building.
Yes, I built it. It's a shining example of my work. Gothic castle-like house in the middle of New York City.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. We blew it up.
You what?
We blew it up because it sucked.
Blew it up because it sucked.
It fucking sucked. We hated it.
The dry cool went like that. I could be an action hero.
It was all fucked up inside. We blew it up.
Life's work is a pile of rubble that homeless people defecate on.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Do I look like someone that would make something like that up?
Yes.
When you
Well, he did it.
you built this.
I can't see your eyes. You're wearing sunglasses. I can't trust anything you say.
When you built this horrible-looking building.
It was a beautiful building.
First thing I thought when I saw it was, what a piece of shit architect this must have been. Someone who doesn't understand beauty.
That was literally your first
thought. Clearly, whoever designed this didn't understand anything about architecture. And then I went in, and soon thereafter blew it up. But let me tell you something. When you built this, did you purposely build it as a portal to where we are now? Or was that Lundin?
What? No, a connection to the hotel? It's just 7, 8 blocks away.
No.
What do you mean, a tunnel?
The endless doors, whatever you were saying, the Brotherhood. What is that?
Yeah, talk about that.
It was Lundin's thing. I don't know. I wasn't a member.
Well, you weren't allowed because you sucked?
I never requested. I wasn't interested. They were kind of like a cult. I stayed away.
Yeah, you
I
wouldn't
stayed
want to
out
mess
of it.
around with those cult guys. Just your weird aunt.
Well, who?
She probably
see-
defecated on the rubble. It's a good chance her poop is in there too.
Roger, stop. That's enough.
A lot of people's poop.
Did you ever make love to your aunt?
Roger.
No.
What's
wrong with you?
You thought about it when she walked around in that sexy negligee.
Roger. Take a walk. Roger. God damn it.
He throws his hand up. Walks away.
Roger's walking through his own issues right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about him. He's having a really hard time. He and I are divorced.
Hold the shot.
Anyway. Who else was in this Brotherhood? Who Lundin started it, but who's in it?
I didn't know. I don't know them. I just heard of it. That's all. It was secret. Very secret.
Bobby gets up from tending to Neil and lays his head down gently, and then he jumps in the conversation. You supposedly died years ago. You disappeared. Where did you go?
What are you talking about? I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, you went here, and you've been here hiding.
You left
Ask
New
him
York.
what year he thinks it is.
Yeah,
I
what
was
year
about to.
is this?
I was about to
What
ask
year
him.
is this?
Who's the king?
Who's the king?
It's 1951.
No,
McAllistar Building is gone.
it's gone.
You blew it up.
It's also not 1951.
We blew it up in 1995.
I'm going to make a roll here.
And it's 2015. Go insane.
Yeah, it's
Piece of shit.
Yeah,
Now it's
you lose
2017.
insanity points. Goddamn.
Her and I used to be married.
Yeah.
We have a son
From the future.
from the future.
Um,
What don't you understand?
This can't be. 1995. It can't be. You're mistaken.
The building you built, the building you created, is some kind of doorway
It was
through time.
a gateway, yes. You didn't know this. Perhaps Lundin and his door buddies did.
Maybe. I never went into the McAllistar after it was finished. It was his private residence. I don't know anything about a tunnel.
Anybody with good SIGINT or HUMINT?
Yeah, I have
Make
good,
sure he's
I
not
have
full
good
of
human. I would like to see, like, to me...
You don't
and-
have to roll. He's not lying.
Yeah, to me it
not
seems like he doesn't understand anything about the night floors.
Like he's just a patsy. Like
Yeah,
he just
I thought-
built the building.
But he's
I
been
thought for
tempted by it. So
Why did he murder the
Lundine's
girls?
society went in there and used it as a portal, but like something pulled him through.
Probably to get away. You know what? Yeah. Bobby, go ahead. You ask that because I was going to ask that.
What was it? How did he get?
Why did he murder the girls?
Oh yeah, why? Yeah. So okay, Bobby, to Darabandi, why did you murder those girls? Who told you to murder those girls?
I told you, the king.
Well, why?
It was by orders of the king, because they threatened his throne. If they were alive, they could one day take it. He wanted them gone, and I am in his service. It is. If I don't, he'll kill me.
What are you in his service for? What do you get out of this?
I don't. What does anybody get out of this service? To stay alive.
What were their
I'm just trying to survive.
What were the last names of the children?
I don't know them. I don't know.
So guys, I'm looking at my notes. In 1928, he started living at the Hotel Broad Albin and worked on the buildings in lieu of payment. He killed the children between 1947 and 1950. So he started working there, lost his fucking mind, got sucked in, then killed them. So he was normal. He was like a normal architect.
Okay.
So whatever happened when he started working for Lundine, and somehow he doesn't understand the night floors, he got pulled into it.
I wonder if, this is kind of crossing over into Strange Aeons. Most of you probably know, but some of you don't. Our long-running tour show, which deals with some of this, and in that there's this element of like they're looking for these monuments, because if they can find these monuments and like triangulate them, it'll open up a portal from the other world to this world. I wonder if Lundine in this society used Darabandi to build buildings all over the city that became those monuments. So it's not just one portal. They've basically transformed the island of New York. The island of New York at night becomes a portal, and eventually Carcosa will just take over the world. I think because that's when you think Lovecraft and Lovecraftian like elder gods goals, that's the goal. Open up a portal so that we can get in and just take over and destroy your world. And so Darabandi thinks he's still living. I mean, he doesn't really know where he's living because they've just they used him as a patsy.
If I co-opted him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me say a couple things to just reiterate kind of what I just went over that may tie some of these ideas together in interesting ways. Right after we take a break. Let's take a quick break, and then I'm going to tie some of this stuff together for you after what was just said. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We have had some time over the break to absorb some of this information for the first time, actually talking to Asa Darabandi, which is interesting. And I just want to point out a couple things after your guys' convo. So there is one thing that I think you're misstepping on or misunderstanding, Sydney, is your description of him having no knowledge of the night floors seems accurate. Him being this sort of starting with Lundine, though, is a little bit not correct based on what you just heard, in that you heard him say that when he was a kid, his aunt told him of the King in Yellow and Carcosa and all this stuff. So this seems to have started with his aunt, who is a performer, an actress in France. And the overall idea that, and this is something that, Neil sort of recognized, but Neil is unconscious at the moment. And I'm not sure, maybe some of you can start piecing together. Roger, when you talk to the guys at the one guy who you stole his car, you threw him in the trunk and he said nitty gritty to you. The guy at the newsstand where you first saw that you guys were supposedly escaped mental patients said the same thing to you. Neil experienced a police officer asking him if he found his bottle. You know, these incidences, and particularly Vicky, as you call Christopher and you hear a party in the background, as you hear about your son saying there's a fraternity party and there's these things that start creeping into their lives that seem to be from you. And the way Asa is speaking about his aunt and her impact on him, it seems that there may be some degree of, a contagion of sorts. It's like once you're exposed to this, other people that you come in contact with, it can jump to them, this thing. And it would be easy kind of from all of the Abigail stuff as well, because at this point that Abigail was a totally normal artist working in New York. She found a book and she brought it to this apartment and started telling all these tenants about this play that she found in a bookshop downtown, The King in Yellow. And they all went insane, right? So and you are now kind of looped into this as well. This is all kind of happening to you as well. So how Troy, you mentioned the Lovecraftian, open up a portal to another world and destroy the world. The only thing that I'll say is this isn't Lovecraft. You know what I mean? Sure, you can call it Lovecraftian, but The King in Yellow is not Lovecraft. And you're not talking about elder gods in that way. You're talking about The King in Yellow, which is, it's a different thing. And I just don't want you to get your head too wrapped around that one idea. That said, I can, as you guys are talking to him, I would utilize him as, like you're already started doing, interrogating a witness who has been involved in this deeply, dig deeper and there's more to be found. So let's go back right into this strange furnitureless apartment. A tub of water sits in the middle of the room. Nobody in it. Neil is unconscious next to it, but stable. Vicky and Roger. Roger has a shotgun right up to Darabandi's face. He's talking about his aunt who had returned from France, who was an actress, started telling him about all these crazy ideas. His mom got mad, kicked her out. Apparently she was living on the streets. He hasn't seen her since. Then he went to design school, started making these buildings. Also, let me make a correction. I misspoke. I said that it was Lundine's thing was the Brotherhood of Doors. That was a mistake. Lundine became a member. But it all started when he's like, well, and you ask him who else is in this thing, he says, well, it was started by DeCraig. Ian DeCraig started it back in Chicago. He started the whole thing up, and he was the one he was my benefactor. He put me through school. But I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Where'd you meet him?
He met me. He said he knew my aunt, and that I was a gifted artist. He said he wanted to help me and help me get through school. So he paid for it. He paid for my architecture degree.
What else? What else did he do for you? What did you do for him?
I designed some buildings for him after I finished school in Chicago. Thought buildings. Buildings that, were different than the, whatever you would say, fucking regular architecture, what would you call it? The mainstream, right? Like the mainstream architecture. He wanted to throw rocks at that. He wanted to make something different. And I was excited at the idea. And that's why I came to the attention of Henry Lundine in New York. So he moved me out here in 1920.
How were they different? How did they break from the norm? Style,
the buildings,
shape?
They had emotion built into them. The way that they were designed, structured in a way that it made you feel something. And they weren't just utilitarian. Have you ever
read The Fountainhead? You're a real fucking Howard Rourke, and I slap him again.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
Keep slapping him.
Whack.
Roger just nods.
How many of these?
We all know Ayn Rand.
How many of these buildings are there, and where are they?
Oh, well, there's maybe six in Chicago, 9 in New York.
9 in New York. All right, we want the addresses of all of them.
Oh, I can do that. I can do that. But
Who's your aunt?
my Aunt Adrian, she was my mother's sister.
Adrian Darabandi?
Adrian Darabandi, yes. And she was an actress. I was very young at the time, but my mother said that she worked in Europe, and she did plays there. After her last play was shut down, she left France and moved back to America.
You took your mother's last name?
My father wasn't around. He took off before I was born. My mother used her own name.
What was his name?
She wouldn't tell me.
Who is
also,
Jason?
just wanted to throw out something that you would maybe remember in this moment, small detail, but when you were interrogating Barbas right before you killed him in your Airbnb and he was talking all crazy, he said he saw Abigail. And you were like, where did you see Abigail? And he said, in Paris in 1895. And you were just like, this guy's a lunatic.
Oh, God.
But you would remember this small detail that he mentioned Paris, 1895.
Jesus Christ. What's his aunt's? What's the aunt's name again?
Adrian
Darabandi. She was so. Mr. DeCraig met her and was a fan. He had seen one of her plays, and had tracked her down and said he wanted to help her, and she said, "Help me." That I was an artist. He put me through school, and that's how I met Lundeen.
Who's J.C. Lintz?
J.C. Lintz. He's a guest at the hotel, but he's been gone for a while. He went into the labyrinth and never returned.
All right.
I told you about the Whisper Labyrinth. Look, most people in the hotel, they're here to find their bottle. And I'm not quite ready yet. But if that's what you want to do, if you want to find your bottle, if you want to find your son, I can help you get into the labyrinth.
What is the bottle? What is this bottle? Bullshit.
Is it the Patsu? What's in it?
We've
You
been hearing
drink
about
it?
forever. What happens when you find your bottle, and why do the people want it?
It's your soul bottle. Within is contained the deepest secret of you. Opening it gives you the answer to everything of who you are, your purpose, the deepest you that you could ever understand.
Okay, great. But what poisons people to care? So much that they would risk their
Poisons
life.
people?
Yes, their minds are poisoned to believe
Can I
that
stand
any
up?
of
My
that
back.
matter. No,
my
you sit
back.
down.
Duh!
I'm gonna blow your kneecaps off so you never walk again. You will crumble just like the McAllistar Building, and homeless people will defecate on you.
All right. Easy, Messiah, easy.
Also, it's called the Lundeen House. I never would have called it the McAllistar Building. Only an idiot would do that. It wasn't the McAllistar Building until years later, but he would know it. It's the Lundeen House. Anyway, minor
It's gone.
correction.
Now it's the Gone House.
The Gone House.
You
The pile
said
of rubble.
you said there were more buildings in Chicago. Are they around the lake?
How do you know about the lake?
And then I don't know. Bobby has the note, and he points to the note that Abby left. It says the author, his bottle, the city, the lake. Maybe this is what she means here. We need the addresses of all the buildings you created in Chicago as well.
Okay. But do you want to go to the labyrinth?
Why is it called the Whisper Labyrinth?
Yes, and you
I
didn't
don't know.
answer
I
my
didn't name
question. What makes people so possessed that they need to find this? Just live your life. Who cares about the secrets? Something possesses these people. Something possessed my Murray.
Maybe it was you.
What the fuck did you say?
Maybe it was you. Maybe it was his parents. Kids take after their parents a lot. Maybe he wanted to be like you.
Do you know Abigail?
The girl in blue. I've met her. In dreams. She asks me to bring his bottle. Lince's bottle.
Why does she want Lince's bottle?
I don't know. I don't know. She says she needs it at the party.
Is JC Lince's bottle in the labyrinth?
Yes, everybody's bottle is in the labyrinth. Your bottle is there.
I saw my bottle once. I couldn't reach it.
You saw it.
That's right.
You were in the labyrinth?
Yes. And we didn't go to the
And
party.
you live to tell the tale.
Yes, because we didn't go to the party. Only fools go to the party.
That's what Rourke says. And you remember Mark Rourke was the dude in the Night Floors who was like, hey, you're not going to that party, are you?
Yeah. Okay, you can help us, and we will go with you, and we will not kill you right now where you stand, but you need to help our friend.
I can help. I can help him. Let me try. And he's going to go over and attempt to perform first aid on Neil. But he...
We want to watch him. We want to watch him.
I'm watching him.
You can watch him.
Yeah. Do we
But
need
you don't
like
see any medical supplies.
Okay.
You don't see anything in
we
his
need an
hands. that are-
alertness?
Does this guy have
an alertness
training
roll
or
something? Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
Like, he doesn't seem like he would have training, but he says, I can help your friend. And he comes over and he takes some...
I mean, he has some experience having killed multiple people by round.
True.
He's experienced with taking life. So
he takes
Anybody
some of
can
the...
take a lot. It's the holy.
You learn
mental.
more from failure than you do.
Okay, he comes over and he takes some of the sand from the ground and he begins to sprinkle it along Neil's forehead, kind of like in a line, a horizontal line across his forehead, and he kind of shapes it as if it's like, almost like a strip of like a tiara or something like that, like across his forehead, a thin strip of sand, and he's almost like obsessively like designing it so that it's a perfect line of sand across the front of his forehead. And then I'm going to roll some dice. Oh, natural 4. And whatever this was, whatever it did, Neil's eyes start to flutter open and you get 4 hit points back.
wow.
Max hit points back. Neil's eyes open. Neil, on your character sheet you can go up to 6 hit points, but there's no explanation as to why. But Neil's eyes open and he says, "There, see, I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy. I understand we all want to find our bottle. I'm happy to help you get there, but I need you to help me with something. I need you to do something for me. There's only one way that we can both get there together. I need you to find my aunt. And I need you to kill her. She haunts my dreams. She's with me every night, but she's not herself. A mask is over her face. It keeps it still, and I wake up thrashing and screaming, and I haven't slept. I haven't slept in years." And you can see he's like so twitchy and his eyes are all bloodshot, and you're really recognizing now more and more the torture, the psychological torture that is part of this person that you've been talking to.
I don't understand. You don't know where your aunt is. Well, how would we find your aunt?
I think you could find her at the wedding.
Who's
I
with
see her at the wedding in my dreams. It's in the ballroom on the second floor. I can't leave the basements. The king says I have to stay here, but if you can go to the ballroom, if you can kill my aunt and destroy every part of her, I know that the answer is there.
The answer to what?
There is something inside of her that will lead us to the labyrinth. And it will cure me of these nightmares, I know it. Help me, and I'll help you.
Why should we cure you?
I helped your friend. And he's reaching out like desperately to you, Vicky, and his wet hands, sandy hands, like try to touch your hand or your forearm, and you pull away?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
What?
Okay.
Oh, shit.
What? Why? Why?
His hands come back down.
Don't touch me.
Sorry.
Bobby turns to Neil. Neil, are you okay? Are you okay? What happened?
I don't know.
And like
Joe.
That's Joe.
He says, I mean, I just want to make sure that he's not like some kind of like thrall or something. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
Like,
When you touched the water, Neil, you felt as if you were pulled into the tub. You felt as if something was drawing you deeper and deeper and deeper, and that you began drowning. You were thrashing and fighting against it, but whatever force it was too strong for you. And I would say your life flashed before your eyes, and there was a moment there where you thought you were going to die. And then suddenly you opened your eyes and you started spitting up this sand and hair, and you never saw any sand or hair.
Is there still
really
any
make any
like
sense to you.
remnants of the sand or the hair like in my mouth or anything?
Yeah,
like,
probably.
Yeah, so I'm like spitting up as like
Like
just,
pulling hair out between teeth.
just like putting my fingers like clawing like my tongue to like pull out the strands of hair, and it's like so that was very unpleasant. I
Neil.
thought I was gonna die. I think I did die. Drowned. Why is all this hair in my mouth?
The sand it's from the lake. The shores. Did you visit it? Have you been to Carcosa?
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Is the hair from the lake too? You fucking weirdo.
He pulls up the hair, long strands of black hair. Inky black and very long they're clumps, but as you unspool them, they're like long hairs. He says, I don't know about the hair. I'm not sure what it's from.
all right, we gotta go to the labyrinth then. We got Neil
Yes,
back.
yes. And to go to the labyrinth, go to the wedding. Find my aunt, kill her, destroy her, and take what's inside of her, and bring it back to me.
So some more elder murder, anyone? Should we just go murder some more old people?
Killing ants is our specialty.
Do we need this guy? Yeah.
I just feel so angry at him.
Yeah.
He's a real monster.
He's
Like,
definitely-
I mean,
Yeah.
He's a serial
Clearly,
killer.
it seems like some of this was beyond his control. I feel like somewhere along the way, his mind, in being opened up to this, became poisoned. But you can only. He's still a threat.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
murdered children.
well, not only did he like murder several children, but he's also near sort of the core of what has happened to us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, our characters surely would
We want to kill him.
want to kill him.
Yeah,
I would
Yeah.
think.
we've killed people for less.
For sure. Way less.
Yeah, now we're going to be like, let me just do this quick hit for you, and then
Yeah,
we'll come back
yeah.
and you can
Yeah.
lead us to the maze.
Yeah.
I just want to fucking kill him.
You can do that. You can kill him. You cannot do what he requests. He seems to think that finding your way to the Whisper Labyrinth is difficult. You don't know that this is the only way, but he seems to imply that it is. But you don't have to believe him. He's not lying, but what he believes may not necessarily be the truth. So doing this is up to you. If you think that this is the shortest method to get to Murray, then you can do it. If not, you can leave him, you can kill him, and find another way.
I think whatever we do, I would want to also find, as long as we're down in the basement, try to find Lince's bottle using the map.
Well, if he says the bottles are in the labyrinth, and Roger's already seen his bottle, and Neil, I thought you already saw your bottle too, right? When we were in the Night Floors, or no?
Yeah, his bottle was in a picture in the Night Floors.
I didn't see the bottle
so
itself.
it's the Night Floors is the labyrinth, I'm guessing, right? So
I think the Night Floors is everything.
it's everything.
No, if you guys ever shared information, you would know that where Roger saw his bottle is almost identical in its look to what Neil has dreamt of when he sees bottles and Lince's bottle. It's this brick underground, almost like catacombs of sorts. They are not the Night Floors.
Oh,
I mean, that sounds like where we are now.
The Night Floors look a lot like the Hotel Broadalbin.
okay.
And the map that we have would suggest that at least Lince's bottle is down here, if not all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got business on this floor.
Right.
We could just tell him, like, well, all right, we'll be back, and then do whatever the hell we want. But we
may end up killing your aunt in the course of our other business.
Yeah.
With no promises.
We'll see how we feel.
Also, Vicky's freaked out
If
because
it works out that way, great.
I think Vicky knows this wedding. I think she was there in the ballroom.
You've seen the wedding.
Yeah.
You've been in the
She
wedding.
was at the wedding. Like, as soon as he says wedding, she's like, I already know where that is. I already know where the ballroom is. I already know where the wedding is.
Did he say whose wedding it is?
He just said the wedding.
All right, so I'm going back to episode 1 when you get a fucking chess piece calling you my queen.
Queen bee.
Is it the wedding of the king in yellow and you?
Oh, whoa.
Is it the wedding of King Bile and you? Or Bale? Am I the king in yellow? I mean, that's
What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, that's where my brain immediately went to. It's like, if it's your
you-
wedding, you're the
and
queen.
And then, hold on. I just went back in my notes, Troy, because in the apartment of Abigail, there was a chess set that said to Abigail, my queen, and it was full of kings, only kings.
Oh, shit.
That's right. So this is a polyamorous situation.
Right. So I guess
The first place your head goes is always so
Clearly.
ridiculous.
he's got a point. I think the king in yellow
What
is
king
Mormon.
wouldn't want multiple queens?
It's a reverse Mormon.
I think he's
It's a reverse Mormon.
he
Take us
does
to a sanity roll.
He's courting queens.
So are we thinking Abigail was a queen and now Vicky is one?
I think it's just. I don't think so. I mean, that would be like really fun and cool. I don't think so. I think because in the wedding that Vicky went to, like in her dream, it was Vicky's wedding. Like she was there, and it was Christopher.
Okay.
I don't know if it's.
She was like an attendee at her own wedding.
Wait. Don't we have a Christopher note on our board that has some suspect language?
How do we know?
Stop it.
Look
How
at
do
the
we know?
Christopher note.
Yeah.
Joe,
Look at the
don't
fucking
you
Christopher
smile.
note.
Leave like notes and shit for you,
Where?
didn't he?
Where is it?
Sorry, if it's
Christopher
just
left
not-
notes at
I'm
your
putting it here in black and white. My queen. I am a king in exile without you.
Oh shit! Christopher's a king in yellow.
Wait.
My queen,
Wait.
I am a king in exile without you. I've been racing my brain, trying to remember when it started to unravel.
Okay, hold on. This is
we're
weird.
Standing in different islands. You were hiding. Yeah, where's this note
This is-
from?
Where the
This
fuck?
is Okay, so Christopher, this was the one that was slipped under my door in the envelope with the chess piece of the queen. And it was when Vicky was going to meet Christopher. But this is weird. And I'm reading into this now. This is like Sydney getting freaked out. I was very zoomed out on the evidence board, and I thought in the signature, it said, see you in Paris. It says, see you in the park.
Oh, okay.
But if you look at park, it could be mistaken.
It actually could be Paris.
See you in the Paris.
See, I mean, the Paris doesn't make any sense.
Wait,
but
maybe the Paris Hotel. Hey, Darvani, did you build anything called the Paris?
I had a weird little like. Did I miss that when I first read it? It does say the park, but just all the shit is getting weird.
Who says see you in the parks?
Yeah, like that's weird.
See you? No, it's singular
just
park.
but
But the K could be separated.
I see.
It looks like it could be an IS.
It's weird.
See you
I've
in
never
the
noticed that or
Paris.
never thought about that.
God.
And that could just be.
I'll be
that could
waiting
just
for
be-
you at our table at the usual.
And then if you scroll down from that note, look what's right underneath it.
to Ian Frederick de Craig, prisoner, 125101.
And he just said de Craig was his benefactor, knew his
Right.
aunt and paid for him to go to school, was started this Brotherhood of Doors, invited Henry Lundeen to be a member. And then the Henry Lundeen owns the McAllistar Building. These things are all kind of tying together.
And de Craig, where did we get this prisoner note?
This note popped out of the back of a Clockwork Child in the night floors to Neil alone. He opened up the envelope, and inside was an invitation to the party.
Right.
Ian Frederick.
And Neil kept that invitation.
Hate.
Actually, yeah, because I would have
Freaking out right now.
because Neil is keeping all of this stuff in his medical bag. So when the name, because he was unconscious, I guess, still when de Craig was mentioned. But if he did hear the name, he could produce this.
We would fill him in on everything that what's his name Darabandi said, right?
Yeah. You're still in the room with him, so let's just talk about your next move. You can totally fill Neil in on everything.
Yeah.
But are you going to the ballroom? Are you going to investigate the basements further?
Basements further.
Yeah. This is
Basements
where we
further.
need to be.
All right, so Darabandi will see you on your way, and you begin to investigate the basements further. As you start moving through, you come to there's sparing rooms down here. Their doors, most of them are closed, but they don't look like typical units like the upstairs ones do. Not quite as nice. And but in this one, you see several closed doors, and I don't know. I would kind of presume that you are. Are you like listening at these doors? Are you banging them all open? Like what are you doing to the doors you pass that are closed? Or do you just keep walking down a hallway looking for the bottle, J.C. Lince's
I
bottle?
want to try to follow the map.
Yeah, the map.
Let's
right?
follow the map because these
But
doors
that's
could
told
take us some place that we don't want to go. At least right now we're on a path. We can always come back and check the doors.
Okay, so you begin walking and moving through and not checking doors. And as you're following the map, which is a hand-drawn map, you found this in Abigail Wright's apartment in 1995. It seems to describe two hallways coming off of an elevator, and down one hallway making a left, there should be a quick right. There is a WL on the middle. Each time as you take the two different paths away from the elevator and try to find your first left turn, there is never a quick right. However, there is always an open space of wall there that seems that there's no unit there, there's no door there, but where on this map a hallway should go to WL does not seem to be there. It seems like you're at an early dead end and something is blocking you from that hallway to WL.
So we're at the part of the wall where that hallway should be.
Yeah. So if you look in the middle, you make a left and then a quick right where that quick right would be in two different hallways that span off of the elevator. Mm-hmm. You go, it turns left, and when you go to turn right, it's just a wall.
We don't know what WL stands for.
Whisper Labyrinth.
Whisper Labyrinth. Okay.
Whisper Labyrinth.
Nice, Sid.
Nice.
So
Sydney, nice work.
So wait, can we like touch the wall? Like, is it real?
Let's
yeah. So give me a search roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Roger.
Yeah, you've got the best search,
check
right?
this wall. I'm good with walls.
75 over 57.
9.
I got 16. 16 under 45.
Yeah, you guys are moving your hands over this thing, and you definitely feel as if something might be behind it, like it's hollow, but there is no seam of like a door or a secret door or anything like that. But if you knock on it, it does feel a little bit hollow, and there's no door nearby that seems to be a unit that goes down this far. Like let's say there was a doorway 10 or 15 feet down. Maybe that's just inside of an apartment. You don't see any of that. There's not a doorway near this on this side of the wall.
Okay.
There's something behind this wall.
Can I like kick into the wall?
Yeah, you can attempt to break through with a strength check with a strength times 5.
Bust it down.
I actually failed with a 97.
So bam!
Just like
You go up against the wall, and it is well constructed. It almost, when your shoulder hits it, it almost feels like cement rather than drywall. Like it really feels like it's not going to give at all.
don't kick it.
We should summon a powerful ally.
Yes.
Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah. I agree.
Man, that'd be awesome.
I mean, Vicky is now, I don't know, she's like, in her head, she's thinking like, maybe we do need Darabandi. Maybe we do need to help him kill the aunt or whatever.
Like we have to enter the labyrinth in order to get to the rest of this maze.
Yeah.
Ballsack.
I mean, can we get, is there a way to get tools or something to just like start hammering this fucking wall down or something? Get like a sledgehammer? Is that going to be too obvious?
I mean,
Do you want to look around?
My shoulder
Do you want to
is
look around for a sledgehammer?
Yeah.
I got a sledgehammer right here.
Yeah, we're in a basement, right? There's got to be some kind of tool room or
Sure. Well, let's see if there is. Go ahead and give me a roll. Search roll.
search roll. All right. God damn. 75. 45. I failed that one.
I'm searching as well. I got a 37 under 44.
Neil, you're searching as well.
Okay.
Neil, we'll say you're with Bobby. You're walking down one of these hallways. Do you guys split up, or does everybody stay with each other all the time in these hallways?
We're sticking together.
We're sticking together.
At this
Yeah,
point.
but we're not, Vicky's not splitting up.
Yeah.
All right, so all four of you are sticking together, and Neil, you're drawn down this one hallway. You get a sense that that something is down here, and you see an opening that, after a couple turns of hallways, you see an opening into what looks like a larger room, and you see from a distance plants, like what looks like vegetation inside of this open area. If you keep walking toward it, you get close to the entrance, and you see that this is opening into a rather large space, and it is filled with vibrant plants that are all potted and not just potted, but like built into like long beds that are like soil beds that are built like an arboretum, like a nice big open indoor garden area, but with no sunlight.
Wow.
You walk in and you look up, and in the ceiling is this frosted glass. It looks like this dark frosted glass in like a globe over the top, but with no sunlight coming in, and all of these shrubs and flowers and stuff like that. And you hear in the distance and around some flowers, the grinding of what sounds like tools, like the clanging of metal on stone or the grinding of metal on stone.
Oh, it's the lawnmower man. Let's check it out. I would check it out cautiously.
Okay.
We're all going, right?
Great.
Yeah.
You begin walking through, and as maybe you see this, maybe you approach carefully and you see this through some plants. You look through some shrubbery and you see a figure, and a light, a big heavy flashlight is hitting a wall, splashing onto a wall, and then looking kind of at the floor, and then the wall, floor, this flashlight, and you hear clang, clang as you're getting closer. And sure enough, you see a man with a sledgehammer in his hand and a miner's helmet on with a big old light in the center of the helmet, breaking this sledgehammer against this wall. This back is to you, but it looks like a man, sort of larger man.
And he's not
sturdy.
He's not banging on the wall that we were going to be banging on, right? Like he's not like wherever we ended up. Like he's not.
Yeah, he's in the middle of this. We'll call it an arboretum, okay. Just like smashing
walls,
a stone wall.
Excuse me. Okay. Hello. Excuse me.
And the light turns around and goes into your face.
Fuck.
By the plants, all you see is the silhouette of a man holding a sledgehammer, blinded by the lights in your face. And we're going to pick it up there next week.
Oh, yeah, I knew you were going to
Because we have to stop here somewhere, and this is going to be crazy. So a man that you cannot see with a sledgehammer in his hand sees you, and we just see this blinding light and a silhouette behind it. And we'll pick it up there next time. Bow, bow.
We got to call his name.
Riddle of the Sphinx.
Solve the puzzle. Yeah. You solved the puzzle.
It's so much better without Genesis.